Hey friends, welcome back. Today I'm going over Cycle 1, Week 10, what I did as a tutor for the Abecedarians class. First I'll cover new grammar, I'll tell you what we did for review, and then I will talk about what we did for fine art for the tin whistle. So the first thing we did was geography. We always start with geography because it's easy just to have the maps already set out. I mark the maps the night before with dry erase marker, different colors. I use this resource that I got from CC Connected. I will put that in the description. Generally I follow the same colors they have on here. I mark up the maps like this one is marked up. Today we did go over Pacific Ocean, so on the world map I marked the Pacific Ocean over here, but I also marked it over by the west coast of America. And so we took our little Lego people on a trip. This is just what we do every class now. So everyone got a Lego person and we started off in the Pacific Ocean on the west coast and we sailed all the way around the world. And so I just had them like come up around the map and over to the side, but kind of explained how on a globe, you know, you would be going through the ocean, you wouldn't be going above North America. Anyway, so we go around the Pacific Ocean, which I had orange. Then we hopped onto land in Japan. We hopped onto Tokyo, which was a pink heart. So I said Tokyo, they said Tokyo. Then we went to Mount Fuji. We climbed all the way to the top of Mount Fuji, which was a green triangle. I said Mount Fuji, they said Mount Fuji. Then we were looking around from the top of the mountain and we saw Kyoto, which is where the emperors moved that we're going to learn about later in our history sentence. So we climbed down the mountain and went to Kyoto, which was a blue circle. And then we got really hungry after our long trip, so we went fishing in the Sea of Japan. They said Sea of Japan, which was purple. We got some fish. We wanted to go back home, so we went back the way we came to Kyoto, Mount Fuji, and so on. Then our little Lego people went to sleep in their bag, and everyone got a Q-tip, and so then they located the places on their maps. They showed me that they knew where it was, and then they could erase it. After geography, we did timeline. This is when we get our snacks out. So our routine is we do fine arts first and then we do new grammar. So the kids are usually kind of wanting a snack by this time. As they're getting out their snacks, I'm getting out my cards. I show the kids the card and I say what's on the card: Charlemagne crowned Emperor of Europe. And they would repeat after me and I'd show them the picture. Then I set this up on the board and I do that for each card. We set the cards up on the board in order. Then we play the timeline song. I usually have on the board written really small the timestamp for where that is on the CD that I keep, or not the CD, but the album that I keep on my phone, so it's easier for me to locate. So these are all set up on the board and the kids take turns coming up and pointing to the cards as they come up in the song, and we have like a little finger pointer thing in the class. Today we only had 2 kids in the class, well 2 kids and a younger sibling, so 3 kids because everybody else was sick. So the kids got 2 turns each. Okay, so next we did science. I used some visual aids for science. I either got this from CC Connected file sharing or from the Sandbox. I can't remember, but I'll put it in the description. So I printed this on cardstock so I could set it up on the board afterwards. So what are some leaf shapes? Linear, and this is the sign we're going to do with our hand for linear. Oval, this is what we did for oval. Lobed, like our earlobe, so we're going to point to pull our earlobe and say lobed. Then cleft. We're going to do this with our fingers because we have a little cleft here in between our fingers. So we're making a cleft like that. For scale-like, I showed them the picture up close and said, see how these leaves look like scales. we're going to touch our skin and pretend like our arm is a snake. So we did scale-like, and then needle-like. We did this on our finger, like when you go to the doctor and you have to give a little blood sample and you get poked with a needle, so needle-like. I had this also from CC Connected. I gave them each one of these handouts to keep on their table. As we said the names, they pointed to them on the handout, and also we did the hand motions. After that, I taught them the song. The song was to the tune of Michael Finnegan. I got the song from CC Connected. I'll put the information in the description. I'll try to sing it here. What are some leaf shapes? Some leaf shapes are linear, oval, lobed, cleft, scale-like, needle-like. What are some leaf shapes? Some leaf shapes are linear, oval, lobed, cleft, scale-like, needle-like. So I had got that song, I put it on my phone, we played through that, and then it was kind of too fast to do all the hand motions, so we sang through it as a class and we slowed it down. So we got our 7 times in that way. Then the next thing we did was math. I pointed to the numbers as I had them written on the board with the multiplication table. So I would say the number, they would say the number. We went through them that way. And then I also have them written across the bottom of the board in larger numbers, and each number alternates color. So I had the number 1 in purple, number 4 in pink, number 9 in purple, 16 in pink, on like that. So we counted through them again that way. Then we played the song. I had the kids roll the silly dice to decide what we were doing for the first time through the song. So one dice is for silly voices and the other is for silly things to do with your body, like silly physical things. So, you know, when you play the song through once, you really go through the numbers twice. So we did a silly voice for the first part and silly body motion for the second part. I'll tell you what's on the dice. I have baby talk, robot, mouse, whisper, pinch nose, and fancy. So we rolled fancy, so we were acting like kings and queens with our voices. And then for the actions, we have superhero, kicks, flamingo, sea stars. For sea stars, we kind of do like jumping jacks, karate chops, and penguin waddle. And we got superheroes today. The kids weren't really responsive to this, so then the second time through, I told them we're going to stomp for the first part of the song, and then for the second part of the song, we're going to pick apples. So we reach across like this. I mean, we do it really exaggerated. I'm just trying to stay in frame here. But yeah, so that's what we did the second time through. Then next we did Latin. For Latin, I reviewed the pronunciation of the 4th declension noun endings. For the singular declension, nominative is us, like puss in boots, like a cat. The next one is oos, like moose, like the animal, the moose. Then ooey, like gooey, like gooey slime or gooey icing. And the next one was like vacuum. And the last one is ooh, like shoe. And I pointed to my shoe. Then for the plural, we have oos, like moose. Like vacuum. So we said Ibis, like you're driving a bus. Oos, like moose. Ibis, like you're driving a bus. So we went through that on the board, the pronunciation. Then everybody got their finger puppets. And as we did the singular 4th declension noun endings, we used our monster finger. And so I had this up on the board next to each ending as we were doing it. And the kids were just moving their fingers. And then we used this for the plural, and I had this on the board moving along down the board with each ending. Next we did history. I used this printable. I believe this was from the Sandbox. I liked it because of the visuals it provided. So I started to read through the sentence, and I was teaching them the hand motions and showing them the visuals at the same time. So when we got to emperors, I showed them, this was a picture of one of the Japanese emperors, and an emperor is like a king, so we're going to put a crown on like an emperor, and you can even see in this picture it looks like he's wearing a crown. So then I read through the sentence till we got to the part about military commanders. So we're doing this for military commanders like we're in the military, called shoguns, and for shoguns we took our shogun sword out. I showed them the picture of this shogun. This is timeline card number 76, and I showed them that he had the sword here. In a feudal system, we're doing this for feudal system, which is kind of like how we learned about the caste system, where people can be lower on the system or higher on the system, where knights called samurai protected. So knights called samurai, we took our hands and bent over like this, and protected, we lifted up our shields. And wealthy landowners, we did this for landowners. This was a symbol we used way back for when we were learning the 10 Commandments. We did this for that thy days may be long upon the land. I went through the sentence again, I read through it, and as we hit each word that we were doing the hand motions to, we did the hand motions. And on the board, I wrote this in maybe like a blue color, and then underneath it in a really light green, I just underlined the words that we were going to be doing hand motions to kind of help trigger me and the parents. And last, we did prepositions. We always review a preposition relates a noun or pronoun to another word. And they repeated after me. We did through, throughout, to, like you're pointing to something, and then toward, you lean toward that thing you're pointing to. Through, throughout, to, toward. And then we just go faster and faster, and I've been relating it to the note values we've been learning. So like the second to last one we did as quarter notes, so I said, okay, we're going to do it fast like quarter notes, but not so fast like eighth notes. So we did through, throughout, to, toward, and then the last one we did like eighth notes super fast. And that was it. That's it for new grammar. For review, I played the preposition song on my phone, and I chose one child to be the line leader, and the kids played follow the leader as we were listening to the preposition song, so they just kind of like march around in a circle around their table and chairs, and I just play up to the point in the preposition song that we're at this week. And then we review geography, so we get the maps back out. We reviewed Japan. I give the kids one M&M. They have to move around to all the places that we learned in Japan for today. Then they get to eat the M&M. And then we reviewed the Egyptian Empire and ancient Greece. So for the Egyptian Empire, they got one M&M, they had to move around, then they got to eat it. And for ancient Greece, they got another one. And then after that, we reviewed our week 10, the stuff that we learned today. For math, I just played the math song. I had the kids get under the desk while we listened to the math song. I don't know why, they think that's fun, but it's fun for them, so we did that. Then I asked if anyone could remember the Latin from the day. They couldn't, so I played a little bit of the song, and then we all sang it. And because everyone sang it, everyone got a cup. So there's the 3 kids in there, so each one got a cup. And what we're doing is building a crystal palace. So the kids could put this on the desk and build up the cups however they wanted. They can stack them. And then at the end of it, they get to knock it all down. So every time somebody gets an answer right, they get to add something to the crystal palace. Then we reviewed the science for the day. The parents and I helped with doing the hand motions, and the kids tried to name some of the hand motions, or we would say the words and the kids would try to do the hand motions. Then for history, I did the hand motions and saw if the kids could remember some of the words that we had learned. And they could, so that was good. We didn't get super far in the review. We started reviewing week 5, and that was it. We ran out of time. So the kids got to knock down their castle. They love cleaning it up too, like restacking the cups. This has been more of a hit than I thought it would be, so that's been fun. And then for the last 5 minutes, I play the timeline song, and we all listen to the timeline song while we clean up. We have to like put the tables and chairs back where we found them, and vacuum and wipe the tables down and all that. So as far as I know, all the kids are listening to the timeline song pretty regularly at home, so I don't stress that too much during the review. Alright, so the last thing I will go over with you is what we did for fine art, which is week 10 of the tin whistle. This week was a lesson on rhythm. So the kids start out with their tin whistles put away or set on the desk. I remind them that they can't touch them unless I do this to bring it up to their mouths. So we first reviewed what a staff was, which we had learned last week. So I drew a staff up on the board and asked them if they could remember how many lines were in the staff. And then I told them that those were called bar lines, because I don't think we called them bar lines last week. That was a new term. I drew the treble clef back on the staff and asked them if they could remember what that was called, so we reviewed how to draw that. And they were just watching me this whole time up on the board. They didn't have anything in front of them because they are 4- and 5-year-olds. They get really easily distracted. We reviewed the note types. So I drew a whole note on the board. We clapped through the whole note, ta. And then I drew the half note on the board. We clapped through the half note, ta. And same with the quarter note and eighth notes. And then I was introducing more new terminology, so I showed them with, on the staff, how we have a line coming down here, and I told them each time you draw another line on the staff, that creates a measure. And so we looked on our Twinkle Twinkle music that we had. I asked them to count the measures on the first line, so I showed them how to use their fingers like this to count them. So we had 4 measures on this first line. I also asked them if they could identify these notes, the quarter notes and the half note. So I said, find the quarter note, find the half note. And then up on the board I wrote the 4/4 time signature, and I told them that each measure gets 4 beats. So we looked back on the Twinkle Twinkle song to see if we could find a measure that had 4 beats. So I asked them if they could find a measure that had 4 quarter notes on it, which would be 4 beats. So they pointed to some. They were looking all around the song and they found them. And then I asked them if they could find a measure that had 2 quarter notes and a half note, and they did, and I explained that also had 4 beats, and we clapped through that. So then I gave them all this handout, which I got from CC Connected, and a pencil, and we drew a measure line here and a measure line here, and we drew a whole note here, 2 half notes here, then we drew 2 more measure lines. We did quarter notes here and eighth notes here, and I drew them all up on the board for them to see, and then they just copied it onto their page. And we took that opportunity to clap back through all those notes to reinforce the note values that we learned last week. So we didn't do any of the stuff that the foundation guide recommended to do under attending number 4 and 5. We didn't label the rhythms because the kids can't write, so we just focused on more reviewing the names of the notes and what value they get. So then I collected up all the pencils and we got out our tin whistles. We sang the tin whistle song. This song we're going to perform at the end of this 6 weeks. All the different age groups are going to perform something on the tin whistle, and so we're going to sing the tin whistle song. So that goes like this. Do you know the tin whistle, the tin whistle, the tin whistle? Do you know the tin whistle? These are its parts. barrel, fipple, mouthpiece, finger holes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, left hand on top. And before we sing that, I review with them which hand is their left hand. We practiced playing the note values. I told them they could do 1 finger, 2 fingers, no fingers, however many fingers they wanted to cover the holes. So before they played, I reviewed with them, so we practiced playing the note values. So the first one we did was the whole note. So I told them, I'm going to show you how to blow through the tin whistle to do the whole note. It would go like this. So you blow out for the 4 counts. And we went through all the notes that way. So I demonstrated it by making the like blowing sound and clapping, and then they would do it on their tin whistle, and I count them in 1, 2, ready, play, and I clap and then cut them off and they stop. So we did the whole note, then we did 1 half note, then we tried to do 2 half notes back to back. So that would sound like this. They did not get it, but they tried. They just played a whole note. Maybe it would have gone better had I cut them off and then like done the 2 beats, cut them off, and then done 2 more beats. But yeah, that's why I make the video, so you guys can learn from what I learned and maybe have a better experience with your class. I mean, I had a good experience. It's good. Okay, we're doing good, and I was proud of them. They did a really good job. So yeah, we did that, and then we did the quarter note. We just did 1 quarter note, and then I had them do 4 quarter notes, and again, that sounded like a whole note with the way we did it. And then we did, we didn't do 1/8 notes. And then we reviewed dynamics. So I got out my chart from a few weeks ago and reminded them that the chart shows fortissimo is really, really loud and pianissimo is really, really quiet. So let's play something piano. So they did really well. They remembered, they played softly. We just played a whole note piano, and then we played a whole note forte, and that was it. We were done. So I hope that helps you guys. We had a great day. I really have been enjoying seeing the kids pick up on this stuff and remember things from weeks past. It's really rewarding to see. So I hope you guys are having good experiences with your Abecedarians too. So I should be back next week with Cycle 1, Week 11.